Good evening. Welcome to the National News Broadcast. I'm Kasuni Balachandra.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Charita Minipurarachi, and let's move on to the headlines for tonight's news. Match bans are to be imposed on 3 Sri Lankan cricketers who have misbehaved. The National Advisory Committee on Infectious Diseases approves the inoculations of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines as the second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine. The Sydney city has been closed down once again. Singapore decides not to disclose the daily afflictions of the COVID-19 disease. Switzerland donates $4 million worth of medical equipment to Sri Lanka. The US launches air attacks on Iraq and Syria. On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with local stories. A controversial videotape is being exchanged over the social media regarding 3 members of the national cricket team. The Sri Lanka cricket has taken measures to bring back to the island the 3 players with the objective of enforcing a match ban against them. The 3 cricketers facing punishments are Vice Captain Kusal Mendis, Niroshan Dikwella and Danushka Gunatilaka. Secretary of the Sri Lanka Cricket Mohanty Silva says measures are underway for the immediate return of the players and for the imposition of stringent measures against them. It has been compulsory for the players to remain in a biosafety bubble as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, these 3 players have violated the law. A report is also to be received from the manager of the Sri Lanka cricket team. Sports analysts say that incident has also triggered a question regarding the vice captaincy of Kusal Mendis as well. Minister Namal Rajapaksa said that if a breach of discipline has occurred, a decision will be taken against it. He also said that he has instructed the Board of Control for Cricket to acquire the CCTV camera footages of the relevant hotel. The minister further said that the manager of the team has been clearly instructed not to allow the players to go out of the residing places under any circumstance. The minister added that maximum disciplinary measures will be taken under the existing laws. He also said that they will take decisions setting an example to the upcoming sportsmen and women. And meanwhile, the government of Switzerland has donated to Sri Lanka a stock of medical aid valued at $4 million. Swiss ambassador in Sri Lanka, Dominic Fergler, has handed over the items to Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at the Temple Trees this morning. The Sri Lanka Foreign Minister was reported to have expressed opinion in a previous occasion on the assistance provided by Swiss government to South Asian countries, including Sri Lanka, to overcome the COVID challenge. He has also pointed out that it is only through united action that we could eliminate the pandemic. He has also stated that international cooperation is essential in this regard. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has extended his gratitude to the people of Switzerland for the contribution. He has also reiterated the importance of the continuously carry forward the strong bilateral cooperation between the 2 countries. The equipment donated including oxygen supply machines and antibody testing sets. Attention has also been focused at the meeting on the need to reactivate the Sri Lanka-Switzerland Parliamentary Solidarity Association and also to join successful programs implemented in the past through the joint collaboration of parliamentarians of both the countries. The Prime Minister on this occasion has entrusted the responsibility to enhance bilateral friendship to convener of the Sri Lanka-Switzerland Friendship Association, Parliamentarian Premnath Dolavath. Ambassador Dominic Fergler has stated that the government of Switzerland will continue to upgrade activities in the field of hospitality on the world expectation of the revival of tourism industry in the near future.
Farmers say it is timely need to get accustomed to organic farming in order to fulfill the objective of producing food devoid of poisonous material and also to nurture a fertile soil. Organic fertilizer manufacturers and farmers have strongly commended the decision taken by the government to move away from the application of chemical fertilizer. A large number of farmers have banded together to cultivate their fields using organic fertilizer. As a result, organic fertilizer usage is being witnessed in many parts of the island. Farmers in different parts in the Batiklo district have shown great interest in cultivating their paddy fields and supplementary crops with organic fertilizer. Our film shows how farmers in Kiran were engaged in organic farming under the instructions and guidance of officials of the Department of Agriculture. Some of the farmers have been able to sell off their additional fertilizer stocks. Another location of manufacturing organic fertilizer is the fertilizer yard affiliated to the Bandarvala Municipal Council. Mayor Janaka Nishanta says that demand for fertilizer has gone up these days and they are receiving a high income. He added that they are able to cater to the increasing demands of organic fertilizer at a reasonable price. Nearly 500 kilos of discarded vegetables are being brought to the dumping site to be used in the manufacturing process. There's a scene of a horticultural farm being maintained only through application of organic fertilizer and organic fertilizer liquids. It is being conducted by Vasanthi Mangalika, an undergraduate in Agriculture Tech at the Columbia University. Flowers including anthuriums and orchids are being cultivated in Malvat in Bandarvala. Mangalika says that there's a higher demand for her flowers. Minister of Trade Dr. Bandula Gunawardena has inspected a cultivated land using only organic fertilizer in Bope, Padukka. Owner of the land, farmer MGD Prabhat, is reaping a bountiful vegetable harvest. Specialist physician Dr. Anuruddha Padania also took part in the tour. A discussion on organic fertilizer has taken place between farmers in the Anuradhapura district and State Minister Dumida Disanayaka. The National Advisory Committee on Infectious Diseases approves inoculation of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines as the second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine. State Minister ChannelEye Rupavahini said yesterday that Sri Lanka is to receive a stock of Pfizer and Moderna vaccines within the next 2 weeks. Permission for emergency use has been granted for Moderna COVID-19 vaccine by NMRA Sri Lanka. It has also been reported that 49,703 persons have been provided with these doses of COVID immunization vaccines yesterday. A total of 3,506,077 doses of vaccines have been administered so far. The second dose of the Covishield vaccine has been given to 31 persons yesterday. 29,327 have been given the first dose of the Sinopharm vaccine yesterday. 20,345 have been given the second dose of the Sinopharm vaccine yesterday. Vaccination took place successfully today at several areas. Inoculation of the second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine to senior citizens of over the age of 70 years in the Colombo district is being implemented with effect from today. Accordingly, 1,200 persons have been inoculated in Kutlapana today. Provision of the second dose of the Sinopharm vaccine to the people in the Kurunegala district has commenced in 12 centres yesterday. Accordingly, 15,500 persons were scheduled to be vaccinated. 5,886 persons in the Panala Divisional Secretariat Division have also been vaccinated with the Sinopharm vaccine yesterday. 1,210 COVID patients were found today. 2,251 left hospitals and treatment centres today after completely recovering from the virus. Director General of Health Services said that 41 COVID deaths were reported yesterday. The health divisions have taken measures to temporarily close down a section of the Rilavala Gram Niladari division in Jailiyagama, Kahatudua. Meanwhile, the Infectious Diseases Division says if COVID-19 infected children are required to receive child immunization vaccines, such vaccines should be provided 2 weeks after recovery from the COVID-19 disease. The program to look after housebound COVID-19 patients has commenced the Ministry of Health today, with the participation of Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi and State Minister Professor ChannelEye Rupavahini. Direct telephone number 1390 is available for the service. The program is being conducted under the direction of the President and on the supervision of medical officials. According to the program, the patients are being classified and a special program is underway to methodically admit the patients to hospitals. Special attention is being focused on patients to be confined in homes and also on patients who do not display disease symptoms and who show minimum disease characteristics. An internationally acknowledged procedure is to be adopted in monitoring the conditions of patients over by a group of specialist physicians via telephone every day. The work is being directly coordinated by the Ministry of Health. More than 400 specialist physicians, family health officials and other medical professionals extend assistance in the program. The Bank of Ceylon, the Dialogue Institute and ViewNet Institute are the sponsors of this program. The Sri Lanka Civil Aviation Authority has decided not to grant permission for the arrival of tourists to Sri Lanka from several countries. It further says that the decision will become effective from midnight on the 30th of this month till midnight on the 31st of next month. Director General of the Civil Aviation Authority, Captain Themiabe Wickramas, says that accordingly, those who have travelled in Angola, Botswana, Lesotho, Mozambique, Namibia, Switzerland, Zambia and Zimbabwe during the past 14 days are not allowed to enter Sri Lanka. "428 persons who have breached health instructions have been arrested in the period of the 24 hours that ended at 6 a.m. this morning. So far, 44,644 persons have been taken into custody in this connection. The Sri Lankan Transport Board says regional transportation services are being carried out as usual to enable the general public to have access to their daily routine.
And meanwhile, Deputy Director General of Health Services Dr. Hemantha Herath says that the elderly population in the country is the primary group considered in the vaccination process in the present day. Accordingly, he said that at least one elderly person from each family should be vaccinated for COVID-19. He also urged residents in Western Province to receive the vaccine without FL, considering the prevailing situation in the region.
We know that immunization program nowadays carried out mainly targeting the elderly population, especially those who are above 60, and even in Colombo city limit during these days they are targeting the people above 70. And we have observed that number of people presenting for the vaccination above 60 are not as expected, and we can imagine there can be so many reasons for such reduced numbers. And I always urge the active members of their families to make sure that they are brought to the nearest immunization center and get their vaccination, at least the first dose, done, so that the possibility of getting complications and possibility of or probability of dying from the COVID infection can be reduced. So therefore, that is another important thing that we need to emphasize, especially those who are living in Western Province need to make sure that they are getting the required dose of COVID-19 vaccination as early as possible.
South Africa tightens COVID-related regulations as the devastating third coronavirus wave in the country has continued to gather pace. The South African government has announced new restrictions amid warning surge across continent could be worse yet. Authorities in South Africa have imposed new restrictions in a last-ditch attempt to stem a sharp rise in COVID-19 that is ravaging the country's economic heartland. The wave of infections has been driven by the spread of the more transmissible Delta variant, weak countermeasures, and public fatigue with existing restrictions. President Cyril Ramaphosa says that all gatherings indoors and outdoors would be banned for 14 days, while an extended curfew would also be imposed in the country. South Africa's rising cases are part of resurgence across Africa, with a peak expected to exceed that of earlier waves as the continent's 54 countries struggle to vaccinate even a small percentage of their populations. In the meantime, the foreign reports have indicated that the official death toll from COVID-19 in South Africa is now 60,000, though excess mortality statistics suggest about 170,000 may have died from the disease since May last year. South Africa recorded 15,000 cases yesterday with 122 deaths to reach 1.92 million overall infections and 59,900 cumulative deaths. Singapore, one of the world's most successful nations at combating COVID-19, has announced that the methodology in place to control the pandemic will be revised. The city-state of Singapore has indicated that COVID-19 will be treated as similar to other endemic diseases such as flu under the new mechanism. The government has further said that no goals will be set for zero transmission of the virus, and quarantine will be dumped for travellers, and close contact of cases will not have to isolate. The government also plans not to announce daily case numbers. The Singaporean government has termed the proposed methodology as the new normal of living with COVID. Meanwhile, the Delta Plus variant of COVID-19, which is the sublineage of the highly transmissible Delta variant that was a major contributor to the second wave of infections in India, has been detected in 10 states thus far. Accordingly, most cases of this variant have been reported in Maharashtra, followed by Tamil, Madhya Pradesh, Kerala, Punjab and Gujarat. India's medical experts have expressed their concern on the rising number of infections and pointed out that the Delta Plus would trigger another wave of infections in India after the country emerged from the world's worst surge in cases recently. Australia is battling to contain several COVID-19 clusters around the country, which the experts have described as the nation's most dangerous stage of the pandemic since the earliest days. Around 80 million Australians, or around 70% of the population, are now under some form of lockdown or COVID-related restrictions as officials grapple with COVID-19 flare-ups in almost every state or territory.
Parliamentarians of the Tamil National Alliance, M.A. Sumandiran and Dharmalingam Siddharthan, have appreciated the measure to grant presidential pardon and release from detention 16 detainees serving sentence under the Terrorism Act. They have also extended their gratitude to Minister Namal Rajapaksa, who has voiced concern over the freedom of prisoners in the Parliament. Meanwhile, Minister Namal Rajapaksa has presided over an opening of a factory producing natural fertilizer in Vadamarachi, Jaffna yesterday. The JICA Institute of Japan is extending assistance in the program. State Minister Roshan Ranasinghe, parliamentarians Angajan Ramanathan, M.A. Sumandiran and Dharmalingam Siddharthan have also participated on the occasion. Minister Namal Rajapaksa has also met relatives of the prisoners incarcerated under the Terrorism Act. Parliamentary of the Tamil National Alliance, M.A. Sumandiran, said that they have appreciated unconditionally the release of Tamil prisoners. Parliamentarian of the Tamil National Alliance, Dharmalingam Siddharthan, said that they consider freeing of detainees as a beginning of a process of releasing prison inmates. The freed Tamil prisoners are a contented lot. They are thanking Minister Namal Rajapaksa for their release. It was the minister who has shown genuine concern over the plight of the prisoners, and he has met some of them in person in the prisons. He has infused confidence among the Tamil detainees, talking and their freedom in Parliament, and acted for their well-being.
And now for a story of an amazing art gallery in the deep jungles of Athilevalavaya has been reported to the national TV. A special feature of this jungle hideout is that it has been built only using branches and twigs found in the forest. The owner of this unique mini art studio is W.M. Jayasinghe. He says that he has used only a knife for his creations. Gomatiyavala in Athilevavala is an area where wild elephants loiter frequently. Jayasinghe's house has no electricity. He has to travel a long distance to find drinking water. He's a farmer by profession. However, he engages in creating beautiful items during his leisure time. His creations are being provided for exhibitions in schools and religious places free of charge. It has also been reported that his arts gallery was fully destroyed by a fire some time ago. Yet he was undaunted by these setbacks. Jayasinghe earnestly appeals any benevolent person to come forward and help him build a safe and upgraded art studio for the upcoming generations.
And meanwhile, foundation stones have been laid for the construction of playgrounds and for the development of sports infrastructure facilities in the Ampara district. Minister of Sports Namal Rajapaksa has presided over the events. The minister has laid the foundation for the construction of a common handball ground at the Geraldine Square in Pothuil. It is to be built at a cost of 1.5 million rupees. The Lahugala Common Esplanade will also be upgraded at a cost of 5 million rupees. A foundation stone has been also laid for the setting up of a handball ground in Hulanoge. The Damarna common grounds will also be renovated with additional sports infrastructure facilities. The minister has also laid foundation for the establishment of Navagampura handball ground at the Ampara Lake walking track. The Uhana Mahavidyalaya sports ground is to be reconstructed at a cost of 3.2 million rupees. The playground of D.S. Senanayaka College in Ampara, which has been embarked for reconstruction of the State Ministry of Rural Affairs and school sports infrastructure facilities, has also commenced under the inspection of Minister Namal Rajapaksa. He has also looked into the facilities of the hostel of the college. A group including State Minister Thenaku Vidana Gamagi has also taken part in the observation tour.
Hansani Gomez is an exceptional sportswoman who has entered the local sports arena as an outstanding weightlifter. She has been holding the female national championship trophy in weightlifting since the year 2019 until today. Hansani Gomez has also been able to create new national records, including 2 in the 45 kg category and 2 more in the 49 kg category. Hansani Gomez has also been successful in winning the bronze medal in the weightlifting championship tournaments in the Commonwealth Games held in 2016 and 2017. In the South Asian Games of 2016 and 2019, Hansani has also secured silver medals in weightlifting. She is the only female competitor shown such excellence in weightlifting in any international event. Hansani was also able to bring the first silver medal in a women's weightlifting event at the 2018 Commonwealth Games. She was selected also to represent Sri Lanka at the World Weightlifting Tournament, and she was the sole representative of the country.
Stay safe, eat hot.
And with that, we conclude tonight's news. Do it just tomorrow at the very same time. Stay safe. Good night.
Good night.